Hi, I'm John DeVore's hands, and welcome to the DeVore Fidelity YouTube channel. Today, I definitely was not expecting to do another unboxing video, but this box arrived, and last year I did an unboxing video of a box from this same company at around the same time of year, and I thought I would do this again, and using that as an excuse to talk about what's in this box. So, some of you will remember the unboxing from about a year ago, but I don't expect anyone to be paying that much attention to my little YouTube channel. So why don't we dig in and get on with it. The more information we get, the less guesswork there will be. Look at that. Okay, so I don't know, there's a hint. The first hint. Packed again very nicely in this lovely acoustic foam. So this is a shipment for me to be used at the Axbona Hi-Fi show coming up in Chicago in April. And like last year, this is a shipment from EMT in Switzerland, a company known for their absolutely beautiful analog gear. Turntables, tone arms, and cartridges. Cartridges of all types, including this type. These guys, so in this box, we have a TND 65. There's a little black and white photo. I don't even think it's a photo, I think it's a rendering. It's a black and white print of a rendering, and here we have a TMD 15, or 015. So 065 and 015 is referring to the size of the diamond at the end of the cantilever. I don't know what the N is standing for in the TND, but I know that the TMD, I think Tondos refers to this style cartridge. Oh, look at this. So these are the new Tondos chassis. They're very svelte, very nice looking. So that is the TND 065. So that is a 65 micron stylus tip, which is a big, meaty stylus tip made for playing big, meaty shellac 78s. Here's the entire Tondos. Tondos is, I think it's sound box, music box in German, maybe. But essentially, I talked about this a bit in the last EMT unboxing video I made. And what I was talking about was the difference between a Tondos cartridge, which I am unpacking today, and a standard mount cartridge. That is the standard mount that is attached to a separate head shell with 2 screws coming in from the top. And it has 4 little pins for a stereo cartridge. You have the Christmas and Hanukkah pins. You have red and green on the right, and you have white and blue on the left channel. These are different from a modern standard mount cartridge in that the cartridge is incorporated into its own head shell, And the nice thing about that is that with a tone arm that has a locking collar at the end of it, you can swap the entire head shell and cartridge unit very quickly and have everything all ready and aligned, ready to go. DJs will be familiar with this because anyone who's used like an Ortofon Concorde series is a similar kind of thing in that the Concords all have the same mount to stylus tip distance. So you can swap out one Concorde cartridge on a tone arm for another Concorde and know that you've got at least the alignment right. Another nice thing about this particular pair of cartridges, so an 015, this is a mono Tondos cartridge. This is a mono cartridge with a 15 micron stylus. So that is a slightly smaller diameter stylus than the other EMT mono cartridges, which have a 25 micron stylus. This one is designed to play more modern mono pressings. The original microgroove pressings were considerably wider. The actual record groove, the groove in that record, was bigger, and a 25 micron rock fit that groove better. And a modern one, the groove itself is more sized like a modern stereo pressing, and so the 15 micron stylus is going to be a better fit in those. So these two are going to be mounted on an EMT tone arm, on an EMT turntable. So these are going to be mounted to the newest version of the legendary EMT tone arm, the Banana, the EMT 997. They recently did a full update to that tone arm, and I have not seen it yet, but I'm quite excited to use it. And that's a 12-inch, relatively high mass tone arm, perfect for mono and 78s, and it's also perfect for some types of lower compliance stereo cartridges. I'm not going to be using a Tondos stereo cartridge at Expona. I am actually, so that turntable, that EMT turntable, is going to have a second tone arm, and on that second tone arm is going to be mounted an EMT standard mount cartridge, the type with the that mounts with the two screws in the top. In the now classic fashion. I do not have that cartridge yet. I'm not going to have that cartridge before the show, but it will either be the same stereo cartridge I used in Munich last year, or another one, and we're gonna try them both out at the show and go with which one I like. But what I want to talk about a little bit in this particular video is these Tondoses. So I think in the video I made about a year ago when I did the last unboxing, I talked about how incredibly convenient and how hot swappable these Tondos style pickup heads are. And that's basically true, but what I didn't dive into was that there are actually a few different standards. They're not all 100% compatible with, say, these guys here. These are what EMT used to call, anyway, international style. So you can see at the plug end, there are 4 contacts, 2 for left, 2 for right. Those 4 pins make contact with corresponding pins inside the end of the tone arm, and that gets all locked in. But you can spec an EMT Tondos to have that square pattern, or what their original pinout was a diamond pattern. And so if I show you, so originally, way back when, the original Tondos cartridges. This is an early EMT in a Bakelite head shell, actually made by Ortofon for EMT. This is for 78s as well, but the difference is back in the day, there was no such thing as stereo. So there's only two contact pins because there's only one channel. There's only one positive and there's only one negative. In a stereo cartridge, you need a positive and negative for left channel, and you need a positive and negative for right channel. So you're gonna need 4 pins. But before anyone had ever heard a stereo record, there were only 2 pins. So all the original cartridges are gonna have 2 pins. When stereo pickup heads then came out, in order to make them compatible, they just made 2 more pins. So what you ended up with is the 4 pins, but in a diamond pattern. And you'll notice that the modern Tondos is not a diamond pattern, it's a square. So there are stereo cartridges that have that diamond pattern. The nice thing about that is that when you have really early cartridges, they're all going to be that 2-pin style. And so you need, if you want to have a one tone arm be able to play these early mono and 78 cartridges and one of the early stereo cartridges, you need to have an arm that has that 4-pin configuration set up in a diamond and not in a square. So that's one difference you're going to see if you start exploring Tondoses. Not modern Tondoses, although I do believe EMT still sells their Tondoses in that original pin-out configuration. But certainly the industry standard has become that square, which is why I got mine in the square, and my own EMT tone arm, which is what I'm going to try these on after this video is done, which has the square pins on it. The other way that these types of pickup heads can be different from one another and be incompatible in a way is in the stylus to collar distance. So every cartridge I've just been showing you all has the same stylus to mounting collar distance. And these are called type A, or they can be called 32 millimeter, which refers to the distance between the stylus tip and the mounting collar. Here's a classic Ortofon SPU. This is an SPU A, which was the original type of SPU. This is an Ortofon A, so the original type of SPU cartridge. A referring to the A-sized head shell. This is also Bakelite. Ortofon made these SPU-As in Bakelite right up until pretty recently, when they finally discontinued it because they weren't going to be making the Bakelite anymore, and because the majority of their pickup heads have a different size. They have a different length between the stylus and the mounting collar. So this is fully compatible with the new EMTs that I just unboxed. You can see there's the square pattern. There is referring to the diameter of the spherical stylus. It's a spherical conical diamond, 17 microns. That is the absolute bone classic Ortofon SPU. SPU stands for Stereo Pickup Unit. Even before Ortofon made the SPU, I think I showed this one in my last video on these. This is an Ortofon Type C. This predates the stereo cartridges, and that has only the 2 pins. Mono, of course. That's a 78 cartridge. But if you were to buy an SPU from Ortofon today, and you wanted to get it in the pickup head, you would buy an Ortofon SPU that looked like this. It's got a really swoopy and much larger head shell. What's inside is the same basic cartridge, and they make different versions of it, but you can still buy a bone stock SPU, which is essentially the same mechanism, stylus, cantilever as what was in the original SPU-A, but you can see the difference. You can see where the cartridge is, where the stylus is, but you can see where that mounting collar is much farther away from the stylus. And this is called a Type G head. And originally these were made because the original SPUs had a very low voltage output. And so they made these big head shells originally so that they could actually fit a little tiny step-up transformer in the head shell to make these compatible with other cartridges that were on the market at the time. And those little built-in step-up transformers have long since vanished, but the jumbo size lives on. And so there are now multiple Ortofon SPUs, but they are all this large size. Here's an SPU Century, but same idea, same distance from stylus to mounting collar as the current bog standard SPU. One of the nice things about this, while it's a little bit of a pain in the butt because my shorter tone doses won't work on the same arm without having to readjust it, the nice thing about the G-sized head shells are that you can set up removable head shells with modern standard mount cartridges with those two screws coming in from the top. And as long as you set them up so that the stylus is the same distance from tip to mounting collar as a Type G SPU or any cartridge that uses that same geometry, you can now swap your modern standard mount cartridges onto that same arm without having to do any realignments other than obviously tracking force and vertical tracking angle, because there is no real standard cartridge height mounting screws to stylus profile. So thank you for indulging me. I hope it was a little bit interesting. And if you are at Expona in Chicago, come by. You will be able to hear these cartridges. I will be playing 78s at a hi-fi show, which I haven't done since CES many, many years ago. So come by, hear what modern 78 RPM playback can sound like. And I will be playing plenty of micro groove mono records, and of course plenty of modern stereo records, 33s and 45s. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked the video, and I will see you at the next one. Bye.
Back a song of music so tender. Well, it brings back a night of tropical splendor. When they begin, begin. Wow, 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 wow. To live it again is past all endeavor. Except when the truth touches my heart,
and there we are, swearing to love forever, and promising never, never to part.
well, what mama's divine, yes. came along to disperse the joys we had tasted. And now when I hear people curse the chance that was wasted, I know but too well what they mean. So don't let them begin, but begin. Let the love that was once a fire remain an ember. And you speak with the dead desire, I'll always remember. Oh, when they begin, the beginning. Before we turn above you, oh, till you were still to once more, darling, I love you. And when you said enough, what heaven we're in, when they begin, oh, when they begin. When they begin, the begin.